Good morning, everyone. Good to see you here today. It's a pleasure to be at Belmont Park. First, I want to speak to an incident that happened here yesterday where there was a barn fire, as you know, and due to really extraordinary efforts by first responders, the fire department, the staff here at NYRA, 58 horses were saved, 2 horses perished, but they did a really outstanding job. Let's give them a round of applause. We have here with us today many great guests. You're going to hear from Michael Dowling, who's the president of and CEO of Northwell Health. Northwell Health has been extraordinary throughout this COVID pandemic. I mean, not just on Long Island, but statewide and literally across the nation. Northwell has really stepped up all through the state. We've also visited other states that needed help. And Northwell, their capacity and their generosity and just their loving spirit has been fantastic. Let's give Northwell a round of applause. You'll then hear from Matty Yarosich, who's the president of the Building and Construction Trade Council, Nassau and Suffolk. He has stepped up through this COVID situation. We didn't want to lose any time, obviously, but we had to be safe during COVID, and it was a delicate balance. And Matty and the building and trades unions have been fantastic. Let's give Matty a round of applause. You'll then hear from John Ledecky, who's the co-owner of the New York Islanders, who's having a great season. I just said to him kiddingly on the side, I said, boy, it all looks good. Just don't blow it now, John. Don't blow it now. To John Ledecky and the Islanders, who are having a great, great season, let's give them a round of applause. You'll hear from them in a moment. I also want to acknowledge Paul Leo, who's here, Brian Nigro, Tim McCarthy, Danny Grzodsky, Steve Mazza, John Jovic, and John Durso, who's the president of the AFL-CIO for Long Island. Beautiful friend. Thank all the women and men of labor for stepping up again and again and again. Let's give them a round of applause. It's a beautiful day. You feel that spring is here and a chapter is turning. We've had a long, ugly winter in this state, across the country, across the world. COVID winter, the winter of darkness. It was a winter of isolation. It was a winter of death. It was a winter of fear. It was a winter of anxiety. I hope and pray none of us ever go through what we went through this past winter. I hope we learn from it. I hope we learn as a nation, as a world. You know, COVID was not the first coronavirus. We had Ebola, we had dengue, we had these pandemics over the past 20 years. We just didn't learn from them, and we weren't really prepared. And I hope we learn this time. I know that we learned in New York. New York had, by far and away, the worst assault of COVID on the globe. We had the highest rate of infection of any place on the globe because COVID was coming here from overseas and nobody knew. And then once we found out, it was too late. And the infection rate went through the roof. And we were on our own. Don't kid yourself. And it was New Yorkers who came together and who brought that infection rate down. We went from one of the highest infection rates on the globe to one of the lowest infection rates. And we saved tens of thousands of lives. That's what New Yorkers did. And we should never forget that. That's the spirit and the unity and the strength of New Yorkers. And let's give them a round of applause. People say to me now all the time, well, what happens? What happens next? What happens to New York? Will we be what we were? Is a question they often ask. I don't think it's about that. I don't think it's about will we be what we were. Life is not about going backwards, right? Life is about going forwards. And we took a serious blow from COVID. Not just us, everyone, everywhere, took a serious blow on a lot of levels, economically, physically, the death, loss of jobs, loss of businesses, pain, anxiety, fear, isolation. So what will happen? What will happen is what we will make happen. I believe that. I believe that's the story of life. Life comes by once in a while and knocks you right on your rear end. Why? Because things happen. Things happen. Somebody gets sick, something happens at home, you lose your job, something happens in the family. Something will happen. And then what happens? Then what happens is what you make happen. It's a test of who you are and your courage and your strength. When you get knocked down, what do you do? Do you stay down? Do you get up? Do you get up smarter? Do you get up stronger? Do you get up more resilient? Do you get up learning from that lesson? And do you go forward? That's the point in life where we are in this state. I talk to governors all day long. They're all in the same state. But different people, different states, different countries are going to answer the question differently, because it's a question of what you're made of and what you believe. Are we going to be what we were? No, we're not going to be what we were. Can we be better than we were? Yes. Can we go forward? Can we learn? Can we grow? Yes. And that's what our goal is. And that's who we are, I believe, as a people. This is not the first time we got knocked on our rear end. Remember 9/11? Remember 9/11? And remember all the chatter after 9/11? Oh, New York will never be the same. We're a terrorist target. We're afraid to live in New York now. This is never going to stop. That was the chatter. The flip side was, you're damn right this is New York, and we're going to build it back, and we're going to build it back better and stronger than ever before, and no one is going to intimidate us, and you knock us down, and we get up stronger, and we did. We went through it with Superstorm Sandy here on Long Island. Decimated the island. Well, I don't know if we can build back. We built back better than we were before. We learned. We progressed. We advanced. We said we're ready for the next time. So that's our spirit. We're going forward. We're building back better than ever before. And this today is an example of it. Two challenges. Build back stronger, smarter than ever before in this international race to build back, because everyone's trying to do it, and the winner is going to be the person who does it best. But at the same time, COVID is not done with us. So you have to do this, and you have to be smart and safe in COVID. This is a perfect metaphor for it. Belmont Park. We're going to build here a magnificent, magnificent Islanders Arena, 19,000 seats, designed specifically for hockey as a permanent home for the Islanders. It's going to be one of the best facilities in the United States of America. That's what we're building here. 19,000 seats, $850 million of annual economic activity, 3,200 permanent jobs will be right here in the Islanders Arena. But that's just the start of it. The Islanders Arena is part of the the Belmont Park redevelopment, which Jeff Wilpon and Sterling Equities is building. That's going to be a full, comprehensive redevelopment, retail spaces, entertainment spaces, restaurants, hotels, a whole city unto itself, generating jobs and economic activity for Long Island. Let's give Jeff Wilpon a big round of applause. It is going to be an economic engine and catalyst for Long Island in a way we haven't had for a long, long time. It's the physical manifestation of what we have to do. But we also have to do more. We have to take this moment and solve problems that we haven't solved for a long time. We know that we've been destroying our environment for a long time. We know we need alternative power sources for Long Island and the state for a long time. Now is the time to do it. Everybody talks about the green economy and the green revolution and the green world, but they talk. You know what we're going to do? We're going to actually make it a reality in this state and lead the transformation to renewable energy with wind turbines, with solar energy, with the new green grid that can unite the entire state and bring renewable energy all throughout the state with good union-paying jobs, with protections. That's what we're going to do. We're going to rebuild that Long Island Railroad because commuting in this new world cannot be running the gauntlet. I can now stay home, remote learning. I just went through Zoom. Long Island Railroad has to be reliable, has to be safe, has to be clean. We're going to rebuild the LIRR. We're going to rebuild Penn Station, which should have been rebuilt 50 years ago. So we have a mass transit system that rivals anything in the United States of America. And it's going to be done with union labor because that's how it's done right. And that's how it's done on time. We also have to reduce middle-class taxes on Long Island because we are taxing people out of this state. We are taxing people out of this state. And most of all, we have to get property taxes down on Long Island. They're the highest in the country. In the country. You can't afford to buy a house. Now, the property taxes are more than the mortgage. I can't tell you how many people I talk to and say, I can afford the house, I can afford the mortgage, but I can't afford the property taxes. They raised the property taxes in the prior administration. This administration, President Biden, and our senators and congresspeople have promised to repeal what's called SALT, which actually raised our property taxes artificially. They repeal SALT, property taxes will drop dramatically because you'll be able to deduct them the way we used to be able to deduct them. It will change the tax structure of Long Island. The federal politicians promised. Now, politicians promise, I know what you're saying. That's all right. We're going to hold them to it. They promised it. They're in power. No excuses. Repeal SALT or don't come home to New York until you have, because the taxes have gotten out of control and we need our property taxes lowered, and it's going to happen now because there are no more excuses. President Biden promised it. The Senate promised it. The Congress promised it. Live up to your promise and repeal SALT and lower our property taxes. We have to do all of these things. Rebuilding better than before. And, as I said before, we have to be safe. And we have to be smart. COVID is not gone. Well, I'm tired of COVID. I'm tired of the mask. There's a vaccine. COVID is not gone. 58 people died yesterday from COVID. People die every day. Nurses, doctors put themselves on the line every day. Thousands of people go into the hospital every day because of COVID still. And they talk about new variants. And you see states and countries around the world where you're seeing COVID come back. Don't get cocky with COVID. So yes, we're going to rebuild, and we're going to build this arena, and we're going to have this arena ready by the end of the year for the new hockey season. We're going to do that, and we're going to do it safely. Northwell is going to vaccinate the women and men who are building this complex so we can build it, and we can build it safely. Thank you, Northwell. And to me, this is a metaphor. What are we going to be? We're going to be what we say we're going to be. We're going to be what we build. And that's the story of New York. We built all of this. We built the greatest state in the United States of America. We built the greatest state on the nation, in the nation, and on the globe. And we're going to do it again, and we're going to do it safely and smartly, and we're going to do it together. And this is a beautiful illustration of it. God bless the women and men of labor. We don't say thank you enough, but from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of the heart of all New Yorkers, thank you for what you've done this past year. While everybody stayed home to be safe, you went out and you kept working. And our healthcare workers went out and kept working because you allowed other New Yorkers to stay home and be safe. We thank you from the bottom of our heart. Thank you. Michael Dowling.